I asked, "What do you want to see?" You answered, "A Pokémon After going through dozens upon dozens of fan games, I finally found a game that seemed like it was different than the others. Pokémon Legends of the Arena. This fan game is something you rarely see in the realm of fan games. A visual representation of hard work, knowledge and creativity. Right from the beginning, the game immediately lets you know that the developers aren't playing around with this one. You get to watch this really cool introductory cutscene, and just like in Pokémon Colosseum, you even get to participate in this cutscene yourself, by fighting a multi-skilled Dragonite in a fight that's scripted for you to lose. Then the devs decided to take another fantastic idea from a Pokémon spin-off, because they let you take a personality quiz in order to determine your starter, which will be one of the evolutions. Then the game starts you off with you walking out of your room and your brother Max giving you your starter back, because he borrowed it to compensate for his shitty ass Grimer. Which I completely understand. Then the game really starts its interesting story. You see, this fan game isn't just a generic 8 gyms with a different look and story like most fan games, but it also kinda is. The game starts off at the point where the most prestigious and widely known competition is about to start, the International Pokémon Championships. This is the chance to prove yourself as a Pokémon trainer, and people from all around the world participate every single time. You and your brother start the journey in Plaza Down, where the qualifiers for the actual tournament cycle are taking place. After bopping the opposition, you're left with 8 other contestants, and you guessed it, those will function as quote-unquote gym leaders. Except, it really doesn't feel like a gym cycle. You, the tournament host called Gabriel, and this group of elite contestants then proceed to travel to different cities for every round of the tournament, where you plow through several rounds of trainers before going up against and eliminating the other elite contestants one by one. After a few tournaments, while traveling to the next city, Gabriel informs you that there is a dangerous cave up ahead, and he asks you to make sure the area is safe. In this cave, you then run into this random ass dude, after which he wants to battle you for interfering. Shortly after you beat him, Gabriel walks up to you and asks you what in the actual fuck was going on. Once you calmly explain that you fought a dude with a ghost type, he is absolutely shocked. And the storyline surrounding the tournament is properly introduced. Gabriel explains that 5 years ago, Dragon Master Amon and a dude named Bryce were in the final of the Grand Tournament, in which Bryce took a fat L. Bryce then showed that he didn't take losses very well, because he created an anti-Amon movement in the form of the Cult of the Shadow, whose members used mostly Ghost-type Pokémon as their trademark, since the Ghost Pokémon Gengar was Bryce's signature Pokémon. The members of this cult then kept boycotting the tournament and demanding for it to stop existing forever, since they believed Amon had cheated in his match against Bryce and that the government planned for him to lose. After a while, the tournament organizer decided to give in, because the world was actually at the brink of a civil war, and thus Bryce got his rematch against Amon. 1 Pokémon each, no items. If Bryce lost again, he would be cast into exile, never to return. And this rematch is the opening cutscene of the game. You know, the one where Gengar gets destroyed. So yeah, Bryce took a fat L again, and he disappeared forever. To prevent this disaster from happening again, Ghost-type Pokémon were banned forever as well. The appearance of a Ghost type in this battle, however, quickly explains itself as a return of the Cult of the Shadow, and ultimately, also Bryce. And thus, aside from the tournament, you also experience and fight against the return of Bryce's Shadow Cult, while being unsure what they're even planning on for most of the game. Or, is the Cult of the Shadow even the real problem at hand here? I'll leave it up to you to figure that out. Oh, and there's also this storyline with your brother. He's also one of the elite contestants, but instead of being the final boss, you beat his ass at like the second round of the tournament and he basically goes full emo and sends emails like this.
Come home. I'll be waiting.
Or is there more to that than just that? Anyway, the way the developers let this story develop is very, very well done. Opposed to the main series games, the story actually makes sense, and up until the very end you're just wondering what the Cult of the Shadow is even up to. They really managed to find a way to make you care about the story and to make you want to find out what happens next. And to make it even better, at the very end of the game there are a couple of plot twists that I never even came close to expecting. Not to mention, the game has 3 possible endings. A good ending, a bad ending, and a true ending. I'm not gonna tell you which is which, because well, go figure it out yourself. But the addition of multiple endings just is a great finishing touch to this storyline. They actually managed to achieve what Game Freak could never achieve. They managed to make me enjoy a Pokémon storyline that isn't Mystery Dungeon. This brings me to the next topic of discussion, because the developers surely know a thing or two about visuals. They made their own little customized cutscenes like the one I showed you in the intro to truly enhance the experience. I think what I like the most about the addition of these cutscenes is that they really give you a new perspective into things. When your brother is being a crybaby, they make you watch these flashbacks from when you two were younger, and in one of the other cutscenes they even make you walk around in someone's memories in order to trigger the next cutscene. I absolutely love visuals like this. It's way more inviting than the usual ROM hacks that just tell you where to go by text. But it's not just these cutscenes that had my eyebrows raised at all times. Everything in this game is custom. The world looks very appealing and they achieve that real Pokémon game feeling. You have these generic Pokémon routes with patches of grass and such, and generic caves, which aren't really that different from the main series routes, but still look way more appealing. What really caught my eye though were areas like the desert area and the Cult of the Shadow hideout. You can tell that they really put a lot of work into this because everything looks like it is where it belongs. Whether it's the items you can pick up, the entrances to different parts of the area, or small details like mushrooms or flowers. I think my favorite area is the elliptic forest. A forest which aromas cause you to get as high as a fucking kite. The longer you walk through this forest, the more you start tripping, and they really use this to show off their skill in terms of visuals. From making holograms of people appear, to changing the scenery when you enter and leave an empty house, to straight up tripping so many balls that you experience an event of the past. The display of skill is off the fucking charts. And to be very honest, I have no clue what I'd possibly change. It all just makes sense. Other than that, they included overworld sprites for a bunch of Pokémon, some of which I have never seen before. It doesn't really add a whole lot, but it still is such a nice touch to see a biker gang with their Mux and Golbats, or the flying HM guy with his Staraptors. What impressed me the most though, were the effects that feel like they have nothing to do with Pokémon. To just name an example, at some point you enter the Leprous Club because the Cult of the Shadow was spotted in there. Once you make your way to the middle of the dance floor, this Just Dance visual comes up, orchestrated by a
Certified Hood Classic.
I don't know, visual effects like those just make me a happy man. So yeah, in terms of visuals and the storyline, it's an amazing fan game, but then there's the gameplay. Nah, I'm fucking with you. I really like this game. As I mentioned earlier, in this game, you take part in the International Pokémon Championship qualifiers, after which you and an elite group of contestants travel around the region for different rounds of the tournament. Now, while this idea is different and interesting, just jumping from round 1 to round 2 by going through a few patches of grass and battling some random trainers would still be pretty lame. Luckily, the developers realized those filler parts would make the game less interesting, and thus they managed to be very creative when it comes to keeping the game interesting between all of these rounds and giving you more content to digest. One thing they managed to capitalize on in a very successful way is the fact that the contestants travel with you as a group, leaving one by one after losing to you in any round of the tournament. After qualifying for the tournament, you go to Route 2. On this route you can talk to all of the contestants except for, well, obviously your brother because you know him already, and once you talk to them, they will want to battle you. And thus, you can even scout what type they like to use. It's a really cool way of getting to know the personalities you're going on this journey with. But it doesn't stop there. Like I said, the developers managed to make the game very interesting around the rounds of the tournament as well. As you might have guessed by now, they used the contestants' personalities for this as well. Before the second round of the tournament starts, they make you go treasure hunting with the Ruin Maniac, and before battling the Fisherman in like round 5 I think, they make you go on a nice fishing trip with him. Not only does this gain you more experience, but it also gives you something different to do. And most importantly, you get to know your elite opponents. That's just really clever and a lot of fun. What can I say? Aside from that, from time to time they put in a bit of Shadow of the Cult plot development, and well, we've already established that that's never boring. Last but not least, they make you do some random quests as well, which were very enjoyable. As a part of the main storyline, they make you catch 3 evildoers in a city before being able to continue any further, and this guy in a cave wants you to catch a Shuckle as a side quest. After which, he rewards you with a Diglett called Diggity. Very funny. I'm sure I missed a couple of side quests, but on top of being enjoyable, they were also very rewarding as well. So, big one up for those details. Anyway, as soon as the game starts, I already noticed a change in the gameplay I really appreciate. They got rid of baby mode. The developers must have gotten sick of the boring ass tutorial parts themselves, where you only battle Rattatas and Pidgeys with garbage ass moves for about 3 hours, and thus the evolution they give you at the start is level 15. But it gets better. Not only do you start at level 15, but straight from the start the opponents have Pokémon hovering around that level as well. However, there's a big difference between the level 15 Pokémon in the main series games and the level 15 Pokémon in this game. Opposed to the main series games, these Pokémon do not suck at all, and they actually have a bunch of decent ass moves, which obviously adds a bit of extra difficulty. But not only that, the game remains quite difficult up until the very end, which I really like. Even if you battle all the trainers on every route while traveling to the next round of the tournament, you'll never even get close to being overleveled. You'll always be around the level of any opponent you're facing. In fact, fighting every trainer is kind of encouraged, because otherwise you'll get absolutely destroyed by any boss you're going to face, whether it's an elite contestant or a leader of the Shadow Cult. I sometimes felt like I was beating random trainers very easily, and then I decided to skip a few of them on the way, only to get destroyed by whatever contestant I was facing in that round. However, taking all these L's against these mini-bosses wasn't just because I was slightly underleveled at times. It was also because the developers know a thing or two about competitive Pokémon, and thus they decided to give them really good Pokémon. And by this, I don't just mean the good moves I just mentioned. Well, I kinda do, because these boss Pokémon have even better moves than the Pokémon of the random trainers. And usually they have 4 moves that pretty much cover any type disadvantage, which was pretty fucking annoying. But it's not just the moves that cover any type disadvantage, it's also the Pokémon themselves that do the very same thing. You see, these elite contestants use monotype teams, which would make you think they're very sweepable, if that's even a word. The developers tried to make the very best out of this situation by giving these monotype trainers a bunch of Pokémon with 2 typings to counter said disadvantage. However, there's even more that makes these fights way more difficult than you'd ever expect. Opposed to the random trainers, all these bosses have given their Pokémon very useful competitive items. Wanna destroy Sharpedo? Nope. It's focus sashed. Think you can survive an attack from a Flygon? Nope. It's life orbed. On top of that, every single Pokémon has the best possible ability, resulting in a lot of memes whenever I try to close combat a rock type. And then last, but not least, they somehow managed to manipulate the AI somewhat so that it uses the correct move most of the time. I have no clue how they managed to pull this off, but my fucking jaw dropped when Fisherman Steve's Politoed used Perish Song after I used 2 Calm Minds on Espion. Like, how does this guy know that that's the right move to use? I don't get it. Anyway, I'd highly recommend playing this game without using any healing items in battle to truly experience the difficulty of this game. I'd say you definitely wouldn't do this game any justice if you just healed up with 30 hyper potions every single battle in order to progress. Not healing, combined with the aforementioned factors, made me lose the boss fight so many times that I actually had to come up with strategies, such as using Sunny Day Typhlosion and Rain Dance Swift Swim Luminion in order to counter them. Yes, I unironically used Luminion. Shut up. It's a cool fish, okay? But yeah, this added difficulty made me enjoy the game a lot more than I would have with the regular Pokémon game difficulty. I actually yelled when I finally beat Fisherman Steve after losing about 8 times. It truly felt like I managed to overcome a very big hurdle. Anyway, it's not just the trainers that have Pokémon that aren't completely useless for once. The same goes for the wild encounters. The developers decided there was no place in this game for garbage encounters like Zigzagoon and Geodude, with Tackle as their best move for the first 10 routes. And like, of course there will be viable and less viable Pokémon in every game, but I wouldn't consider any of them useless in this game. Some of the routes have themed encounters like the desert or the swamp, and others have a bunch of different species to encounter. No matter the condition, I feel like the encounters were decided and balanced very well. Every route has a bunch of nice Pokémon that aren't over or underpowered at all. To make the wild Pokémon a little less annoying to race after you catch them, they have a bunch of decent moves, and even if you feel like something's missing, the move tutor is easily accessible and the game provides you with a bunch of useful, reusable TMs and HMs to power up the caught Pokémon as well. To add to that, like I mentioned earlier, even if you battle every trainer, you'll always be either at the same level as your opponent or slightly under-leveled. So that might have had you thinking that training them would be very annoying, especially since none of the opponent's Pokémon have bad moves. Well, the developers really thought of everything because you obtain the experience share at the start of the game for free, by just progressing through the story. So, growing your newly acquired Pokémon isn't a pain at all. To stay on the topic of growing your Pokémon, you might have noticed I've been using an Electivire in this video. Considering this big boy can only be obtained through trading, this might have raised some questions. Well, allow me to explain. Because you can't actually trade in this fan game for obvious reasons, they made one very simple change. Instead of letting Electabuzz hold the Electrizer while trading, you just press use and use it on the Electabuzz. After which, it will evolve. They just changed it from a held item to a usable item, which many fan games have never thought of for some unknown reason. But it's not just those evolutions that are easily accessible. Throughout the region you have this one guy that sets up his illegal shop on a random route, and he sells a bunch of useful items for a relatively decent price. These shops include evolution stones like dawn stones and shiny stones as well, so you don't have to search the entire region in order to find like a max of 2 dawn stones to then get screwed over for the rest of the game. Long story short, Pokémon battle gameplay thingy, very good. Then there's one new addition that I'd really like to see in an actual Game Freak game as well. There are these healing machines present at random places like in the middle of a certain route or in a certain part of the Shadow of the Cult hideout. These healing machines will heal your entire team just like a Pokémon Center, but they will cost you a bit of money. At first it's 1,000 Poké Dollars, but it basically goes up $1,000 after every round of the tournament. Is it really necessary? Well, not really. Aside from using these healing machines a lot, the trainers you battle give you a lot of money, especially if you have the amulet coin equipped that you obtain very early on in the game. I always had money for hyper potions and revives, and most of the time I was running around with like 400k. Still, I really like the idea of like a Pokémon Center on a pole that costs you a bit of money. Especially since it heals your PP as well, which revives and hyper potions don't do. This leaves me with one more major topic to talk about. The music. The music in this game worked surprisingly well with all the different areas. The music used is a combination of remixes of actual Pokémon games and music that I didn't recognize at all. I recognized like Explorers of Sky remixes and Colosseum remixes, but then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, I'm pretty sure I recognized Harry Potter music? To make it even more diverse, some of the cutscenes even have music with voices instead of just a beat. Now, while this may sound very random and uncoordinated, none of the music felt out of place or annoyed me even the slightest bit. In fact, and I don't do this very often, many soundtracks made me stand still for a bit to just absorb the music because I thought it was that good. Then, I have one more thing to praise. Once again, I'm sure I missed a couple here and there by simply walking past it, but there are a bunch of iconic things from actual Pokémon games added to this game. Just to name a few, they've remastered Mr. Briny Sprite, and you can find him running after his Pico. Then, in the Leprous Club, you can find and battle a 2D Myra B Sprite. With, of course, his banger-ass theme song. Then last but not least, near the end of the game, you can enter this one room where the visuals are changed from Diamond and Pearl to the very first Pokémon games. And all of this is happening because one of the scientists pressed the wrong button. Do things like this add a whole lot? No. But it's cool as fuck. But then, I can hear you think, do you have anything negative to say about this game? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I actually do. So, let's get to the nitpicking first, before getting to the one major issue I have with this game. The first thing I don't really like is the fact that the dump HMs are still a thing in this game. Like, I'm okay with HMs functioning as TMs, you know, where you can just delete the move for another without any move deleter. But I've always disliked the whole
"Thou cannot forget an HM when thou committedst"
thing. Even though Pokémon Fat Kid was a gigantic meme game, at least they realized that HMs were pretty ass, and they just got rid of them. I really wish HMs were changed in this game, but in the end, it's not that big of a deal. Besides, aside from strength and surf, you don't really have to use HMs in order to progress in this game. Dump moves like Cut and Rock Smash are really only used to obtain items and such. At least, they made it a little less annoying that way. To add to that, I disliked the surf speed a lot. It felt like I was playing the game at 0.5 speed when surfing. It really shouldn't feel that slow. I'm not even bothered by the fact that the surfboard is a Whalmer when I'm using aluminium, but the speed just removes any urge to surf anywhere, to be honest. Those are really the only two minor things I didn't really like. Other than that, there are still a couple of bugs in the game, but what else can you really expect from a fan game? So first things first, the frame rate is still quite bad in some places, and when you're traveling by train to another city, they even make a joke about that because they didn't really know how to fix the frame rate. However, these drops were so scarce that I really didn't care about it at all, like I barely had any lag while playing the game. Then I also found two bugs in the actual gameplay. The first one is with Drifblim and Drifblim only for some reason. Whenever you're fighting a Drifblim, this error continuously pops up. Like right now on screen you can't really see it because it only records the actual gameplay and you can't see the error, but I think it has something to do with the unburden ability. I'm not sure how that works and why it is only with Drifblim. Maybe I just didn't encounter any other unburdened Pokemon, but that issue was kind of annoying at times, but in total you face like 2 Drifblims, so if you just keep pressing the X and kill the Drifblim pretty quickly, then it's not a gigantic issue. And then, the second bug that I found when fighting trainers was actually with the Life Orb. Whenever you use Volt Switch, like I'm doing right here with Electivire, and you go into any Pokemon with a Life Orb, in this case my Porygon Z, which is called Zoomer, the user with the Life Orb that switched in takes the damage from the Volt Switch as if it used an attack. But this is not how Life Orb works. Life Orb only works when you're using the attack yourself and not when another user, for example Electivire or my U-turn Luminion, uses any move and it's switched in. I noticed this was happening every time and I think this is just a bug with the Life Orb. The game apparently recognizes it as if Porygon Z used an actual move, but that's not the case and thus you basically take Life Orb damage for no reason. But these bugs were so minor that they didn't necessarily bother me. It's just, if they want to improve anything, even though this is the completed version, then well, I found a couple of bugs for you. But like I said, there's one major issue with this game. The dialogue is so damn bad. This game has a whole development team behind it. It looks amazing. The gameplay is amazing, the music is amazing, it's such a good game overall, and then the dialogue in most parts of the game seems to be written by an edgy 15-year-old. To make it more clear, the dialogue is really hit or miss, and 8 out of 10 are gigantic misses. Whenever there's some plot development going on, the characters are serious, the writing looks somewhat professional, and you are truly invested in the game. But then, the rest of the game is just filled with sarcasm and childish jokes. Like, I'm completely fine with Pokemon fan games not being PG-13, and I really enjoy those types of jokes if they're executed well. In one of the cities, you can enter this house at the docks, and a group of criminals will ask you if you can steal evidence against them from the police station. And if you do this, you can get some really decent items in return. Another moment I really like is the one where you meet up with this detective guy. As soon as he starts telling a story, the classic detective music starts playing and the screen loses all of its color, which the protagonist then addresses in a funny way. These events were executed very well and they actually got a genuine chuckle out of me, but sadly, moments like these were very scarce. On the other side of the spectrum, which is way bigger than the quote-unquote good side, you have a lot of moments like the following one. At some point Gabriel invites you over to this house to meet the world famous Professor Oak. The thing is, this entire event has no purpose whatsoever. All they do in this cutscene thing is portray Oak as someone that has Alzheimer's and is drunk 24/7. Do they really think players will be like, haha, He's so drunk. It's so forgetful. LMAO XD. Put it on Reddit. No. It's just fucking stupid and pointless. Oak doesn't give you an item, adds nothing to the plot, and after this moment you will never meet him again. They literally only used Oak for a tasteless drunk / Alzheimer joke. Like, come on. Do better. And you know what the worst part is? The most annoying and unfunny character by a long shot is you. It's you, the protagonist. Your entire personality consists of making sarcastic remarks and being a straight up asshole against everybody. The things the protagonist says were so painful to read at times, it actually pissed me off. He's the type of kid that would never have any friends in the real world. I think I caught like 10 lines of serious dialogue in the entire playthrough, and then the other 500 he was just being rude to pretty much everybody. God, I hate this character so much. Anyway, from like the 7th round of the tournament, the dialogue suddenly went from a 3 out of 10 to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and I really enjoyed the plot's climax as a result of that. However, at this point it was already too late to save 12 hours of garbage ass dialogue before that. I just don't get it. You make such a cool game that clearly took a lot of time and you want people to take this thing serious. But then an entire team of developers comes up with this low quality garbage ass dialogue. The contrast between the rest of the game and the dialogue is literally night and day. It's beyond me. And I know what you might be thinking right now.
Huh, but you played Pokémon Fat Kid. That dialogue is way worse and you thought it was funny.
That is correct. But that game is literally a gigantic meme that nobody, literally nobody should be taking serious. Like, you earn donut money from battles because he's fat, for God's sake. This game feels like a serious attempt at a great fan game, and there simply isn't any room for tasteless jokes like in Pokémon Fat Kid. So yeah, that's my review of Pokémon Legends of the Arena. Overall, this game was really good. Making Pokémon content every other video has honestly made me lose interest in playing Pokémon casually. Like, my sister bought me the Sword and Shield DLC for my birthday, and I still haven't touched it. This game, however, kept my interest until the very end. In the past 2 weeks, I woke up every day wanting to play and finish this game. Just that feeling of wanting to finish it really tells me how much I enjoyed playing this. In fact, if the dialogue wasn't such an issue, I would have easily chosen this game over any of the main series games. To take it a step further, I'd even say this is the best fan game I have ever played. But yeah, instead of this game being a 9.5 out of 10, the dialogue easily brings it down to a 7.5 or an 8. Is this game worth your time? Absolutely. It's a fantastic experience. But please, devs, fix your goddamn dialogue. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, this isn't the end of the video yet. I still have 2 more announcements regarding my channel after this. But if you're just here for the Pokémon content, then thank you for watching this video. Definitely go play this fan game despite the garbage dialogue. It's a great experience. If you like this video, then definitely leave a like rating. If you liked it even more, then definitely hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video. But yeah, for the people that actually care about my channel, stick around because I have 2 things to say regarding the future of my channel. I don't actually have a script for this written down. I'm just gonna do this from the top of my head. So let's start with the first announcement, and you've already experienced it with this video. I have decided to get rid of my upload schedule. And the reason for this isn't because I'm lazy or anything, but it's because I felt like I was limiting myself in terms of what I wanted to make. For example, this game took me about 20 hours to complete. Considering I spent like 3 to 4 hours a day at my PC, and I also have to edit the entire video, make a thumbnail, blah blah blah, 2 weeks just... it's not realistic. What I've been doing like the past few months is I've been making videos that take less longer to record, and then I had more time for the editing. And on the side I could actually play something more lengthy, like a Pokémon challenge or complete an entire game. And I just feel like it's hurting the quality of my videos. Like, I still feel like I've been putting out very, very decent content, very good quality content. But in the past there were a lot of moments that I wanted to do more editing, but I was like, oh no, I have to have the video done tomorrow, and then I decided to refrain from it. But I feel like I can add more visual effects, I feel like I can add more sound effects, I feel like I can improve the overall quality of the videos. And thus, like I mentioned earlier, I can actually play games that are longer instead of just feeling limited and doing stuff like the hidden content stuff, which only takes about like 3 to 4 hours to record. Like, I will still upload videos, but depending on what video I'm making, it will take a little longer to come online, basically. If I want to do stuff like hidden content, it will probably take like 2 weeks or maybe even less. But if I do things like this, where I play an entire game for 20 hours and edit, it might take up to like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know. Like, the quality of the videos will go up, but there will be a little less uploads. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's the first change, no more set upload schedule. I will probably make a community post to let you know that I'm posting a video soon, whenever it's close to finishing. So I hope you don't mind, I don't think you guys do, but I still felt like talking about it. And then the second change is one that I haven't actually decided on yet, and you might not like it, but that's why I'm talking about it in this video, so I can get your guys' input. I'm considering quitting the whole Pokémon content every other video. Like I mentioned at the end of this video, and that's why I really like this Pokémon Legends of the Arena game, making Pokémon videos every other video has kind of... it made me lose interest in playing Pokémon outside of like making videos, and considering it's such a cool franchise and I like it so much, I don't know if that's worth it to me. Aside from that, it's not like they're getting huge amount of views. Like, if my Pokemon videos were getting thousands of views and my other videos were getting like 100, then I probably would continue with Pokemon stuff. But the views aren't that much higher than on my non-Pokemon stuff. So I'm considering just doing whatever the fuck I want. Will I quit the Pokemon content entirely? No. I still have videos I want to make around Colosseum, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Conquest. I still want to do Pokemon challenges from time to time. I won't entirely quit, but I might just quit the whole every other video thing, so I can just make whatever I feel like. Especially considering my mental health situation, which still isn't very good. I feel like it's just better for me. It's not like I'm making money off of this. Even though I make Pokemon content every other video, my subscribers aren't really going up anymore. The views are, well, it's a steady 200 to 300 a day, I'll take that. But I just feel like it's best to change my whole channel to doing whatever I want before I actually blow up off of Pokemon content and have like 100k subs or something. Just imagine me having 100k subs and 95k is only here for Pokemon. Then that really puts pressure on me to only make Pokemon content, and I'm not at that point yet, so it's not too late to change. I'd rather blow up off of my personality and what I do than people coming here for a certain game. But then again, this YouTube channel isn't just for me, it's also for you guys. So I'm just gonna ask you guys, is it important to you if I post Pokemon content every other video? If it is and you're like, yeah, I won't like your channel as much if you stop doing that and blah blah blah. If I get like an overwhelming amount of reactions that say that very thing, then I will keep doing it. It's not like I hate it, it's just sometimes my mental health doesn't really feel like it, and then I'm like, I'd rather be making whatever other video instead. For example, a few weeks ago I really wanted to make a video around branding and the importance of branding in games, but it was the Pokemon cycle, so I couldn't do that. I was working on a video that didn't even have my priority. I wanted to make something else first, so that was pretty annoying. But yeah, let me know if you feel like it's a really important thing for my channel that I keep posting Pokemon stuff every other video, then I will keep doing it. If you're like, you know what, do whatever you want, bro, I'll hate you regardless and I will probably unsub, then go ahead and say that as well. Like give me your input. That's all I'm asking. So yeah, other than that, I hope you like this review. Like I said, I can't stress this enough, play this goddamn video game, it's so good, it's really, really good. Like, this was an enjoyable Pokemon experience, and it's something that I haven't had this much joy in Pokemon in a while. So go play it, even though the dialogue is garbage. Anyway, I'm dragging this out for way too long. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to you guys. Like, I see like 20 to 30 people popping up like very regularly, and I don't know why you're still here, but I fucking appreciate you. Much love, much love. Yeah, I see you in the next one. Whenever that may be, because I have no upload schedule anymore. Okay, bye.